What do you think? Tips and ideas on planting watermelon or anything in the very hot weather. Hi, it's Robbie from Southern California. You know, I started working on a project and thought maybe you want to know what I'm doing. I do a lot that I don't record, thinking you don't care or it won't matter to you or it won't pertain to you. That's probably the word I'm looking for. So here's the truck bed. No, I did not paint it, though I do want to repaint it white. We've talked about different colors. No, I'm not going to go purple. I actually want to leave it white because it was white when we got it back in 2008. Here is what I'm doing now. You know I redid it. We've got flowers growing in here, which I'm really excited about. We've got the forget-me-nots, and of course, I've got the geraniums I put in here. And I can see as we are getting hotter, there's less flowers, and that's okay. There'll be a few flowers here and there, and then in the fall, I'll probably get a lot of flowers. And then I've got the shark fin melon, see back there? And then this is all shark fin melon. So I'm moving it over, trying to figure out where it rooted. And there's another piece here. So I'm kind of moving it over and I'm being very selective as far as what weeds I'm going to leave in here. Now we've got millet coming up. See, this is a regular white millet. That's, okay, that's a forget-me-not. Then I've got this round one, the round ball, that's canary seed. I'm pulling all the canary seed out because I haven't seen any of the birds eat it. You would think they would, but I just haven't seen it. But I do know that they eat the millet. Now I've got this bucket prepped like I do all the time. Let me see if I've got one here. See, it's just full of leaves. And what I'm going to do is top it with some, this is just stuff off the ground that I'm digging, and I might put a little bit of potting mix on top. I'm not sure, because what I'm going to plant in here, there might be 2, there might be 3. And if there's 3, there will be 3 buckets here. It's going to be crimson watermelon. Now the reason I'm doing that here is because a crimson watermelon is a large watermelon. It's not like your sugar babies that do really good in totes. They can get to over 12 pounds, even bigger than that sometimes. They need more space. At least I believe they do. I'm hoping, because the sun is up there, okay, that this is going to get enough sunlight, and I think it will. So if I get 3 buckets there, I can let the roots go down into the soil so it can get all the water and everything it needs. But I'll know it's getting a lot of water because I'll be watering the bucket, and you'll see that later. So when I fill the bucket up with water, it's going to go directly to the plant. That's the whole idea. And I'm going to leave the flowers. Nothing else is coming out except for all the Swiss chard, or most of it. There's going to be a lot of baby Swiss chard coming through. Tomatillos are probably going to come through later too, because they grow here in the middle to late summer because they really like the heat. The plant does. Again, I'm going to leave the shark fin melon because I'm using it now, and that's a little big. I prefer to use them small. This again is this a forget-me-up? These are forget-me-nots. There's a blue one there. Gonna leave all the flowers, but this is gonna go too. I was gonna leave some of them, and that's kind of what I'm standing here thinking, and thought I'd take you with me only while I'm thinking. Because here's the thing, they will create a little bit of shade, but the problem is they're in an awkward place because that's where I want to put the buckets. I want to be able to reach anything, whether weeds come up or something I don't want in there. And I want the buckets in the front, no buckets in the back. It's going to be hard enough to climb back there to get, you know, some of the shark fin melon that are growing. And this way I can decide how many watermelon I want to grow on each one. Probably 1, no more than 2. Probably will do 1. If each one sets a watermelon, I may let it just concentrate on 1 and then maybe get sugar babies growing in the totes like I usually do. Like I said, this is not a large watermelon, but it's more on the medium side. And because I bought the plants, I got those at CPG, I'm going to go ahead and plant them in here. So that's what I'm going to do now. You'll come back and see how different it's going to look, because you can see already on the ground here, I took a lot of the seed heads off, taking them off the buckets too. I need all these buckets. I might use 1 for another watermelon, but these buckets are all going to be my potatoes. That's a very big thing I started growing. There's nothing nicer than potatoes fresh out of the ground. Boiled, oh my gosh, drained with a little butter. Unless you want to make potato salad out of them. And you don't peel them. The whole potato you eat. So you're not losing anything. So they may be small, but they're great. So you'll come back and you'll get to see it when I'm almost done, because I've cleared this half. You can see what half I cleared. I've got the bucket there because I'm cutting the seed heads in pieces, you know, just enough to fit in a container. And then this way I can use it anywhere. I can use it to start planting potatoes. I'm not going to plant potatoes in any of these buckets here until at least these 3. This one's already prepped. Until I dump it. Gee, that Swiss chard's really nice. Maybe I'll, oh, look at this, an avocado tree. I don't want any more avocado trees. I'm going to dump it and then refreshen the whole bucket, and then I'll get my potatoes in there. Are the potatoes going to be here? No. The potatoes, let's walk over here for a minute, are going to be down there because I'm moving a lot of totes out of there all the way down there. So when Gary wants to bring in more wood chips, because he's almost done with these wood chips, he's putting them in his garden, they can just drive through. And they're having a problem where they turn, the big truck. So if I've got buckets, he just has to move them out of the way. They dump the wood chips, and then the buckets will go back. So the buckets will go back there. I haven't gotten to this wall yet, and I hope to get that soon, or at least work done soon, because I still have the chair garden. I have to go through and see what I want to save in here, because I've got a lot of walking onions. I can refreshen up some of these totes and get some more zucchini growing in there. I usually grow tomatoes and zucchini here. And then I've got red vein sorrel, I grow celery, garlic chives, and maybe I'll do some herbs in one of the buckets, so one of the totes here as well. Eggplant does okay here too. Brassicas do okay. Usually the deer come in and nibble on all my brassicas, but we haven't had any deer. You can't see it, thank goodness. Look how nice the trees are growing. We're trying to keep everything watered. There's a big house they've been building for like 6 years. And since they're still working on it, the deer come through there. They come through and then they go up. There's a wildlife corridor way in the back there. And they don't want to go through with all the work going on because they've been working like 7 days a week. So I think that's deterred them. But they'll be back probably next spring, which will give me time to work on that now. And then I can also grab from there. This is actually all the weeds. It was to the top, and Gary took the cardboard off. He was cutting out and chopping out and pulling out all the dried weeds because we have to keep all that down. And see how far it dropped? And then the Swiss chard seeds, I wonder where they came from, fell in there. And look at that, I've got a field of Swiss chard, but this is beautiful. I've been using this daily. I just go in there and either with a scissors cut or pull. I've even pulled some of them out, and it's been great. Eggs, stir fry, just the way it is. So let me get more done, and then we'll come back and you'll see the difference on what I've done. And I'm not sure if I'll get the watermelon planted right now, but I will get it planted soon. Okay, let me show you the bucket before I place it in here. This is what I'm talking about, holes. We're talking massive holes. Do you see that? So this way, without a doubt, I'll show you what happens when you have big holes. This one's got big holes. Okay, see how the roots are coming out? Here, this one does too. I'll show you this one. See the roots? The plant can send its roots out, and that's the whole idea. It's basically growing in this entire raised bed, but it's starting off in here, and then it's going the rest of it the way in the raised bed. That's why it's not constricted. It's not like it's going to get root bound. It's going to keep on growing. So that's what's going on here. So I've cleared an area for here. And I think I'll use one of those buckets in the middle, and we'll get 3 things planted in the front. And the rest of it, we're going to let the flowers grow. Maybe I'll get more flowers in here. Oh, zinnias, marigolds. I've got a ton of those. And I might leave those for shade. I'll have to watch the sun later and see how that goes. Okay, back to work I go. Okay, so I need to top this off with some soil. And it can be soil from the ground. This one, I need to get some collard leaves, though it's got a lot of seed heads and stuff. I love it. I'm going to get collard leaves for that. This one's topped up with some stuff from the ground. Let me show you what I'm doing. This is how I keep it cheap. I'm not using the wood chips. I'm digging under the wood chips. See? And this is gorgeous. So this is what's going to go on the top. I'm going to use that as my soil. And what I think I am going to do is use a good potting mix. When I say good, I'm just going to use Miracle-Gro. It's cheap. I'm going to put this on top of there. And then as soon as I get some colored leaves, I'm do the same thing. All right, I'm going to keep going. And here's the plant I got from CPG. I still have the rest of it on the plant. Okay, there are 3 in there. Crimson Sweet Watermelon. Let me get back up right there. They're really big. So we're going to get that planted today. Look how this one wants to take off. And this wanders big time. Oh, I'd love to get some of those on there. Oh, look at my blueberries. I haven't had breakfast yet. My hands are muddy, but I don't care. Look. Can you believe it? I never planted it. It's been there over a year. Have to do something with that. Got some time. I still have to plant that. Okay, that is going to be planted today. Okay, on this, there is no right or wrong way. It's whatever way you want to do it. They've been in this pot for way too long. I'm going to gently break off the bigger one, as gentle as you can. I'm going to put the bigger one in here, and then it doesn't matter which one I put here. Okay, so I'm going to put one in there and one in there. Let's just plant this one, and then I'll put the crimson tag inside. Let me see if you can see what I'm doing the best you can. Hold on. Okay, now, it's so windy. Because this has been in potting soil, and it's going to go into shock without a doubt, and it's older, I'm going to go ahead and put potting soil on the top. I use Miracle Grow, you use whatever you want. I just used a plain old, it's called potting mix, and that's the one I use right now. It's been for years, the yellow bag. And I'm going to put that here and build that up. We don't want to bury too much of the stem, just a little, and I'm going to have it go, that's the direction. Which way do I want it? Well, you know what? It's sending off more shoots. So let's go ahead and let it go this way. And then we'll start building it up. Now I really soaked these buckets already. Well, this is going to lean on the bucket. That's all right, it can lean. It wants to climb, but it's going to hit the ground and take off. That's more than enough potting soil. See how little I use when I use potting soil? One big bag lasts me almost to the whole, but if I'm only doing a certain amount of planting, it'll last me through the whole growing season. Okay, I broke that leaf, that's all right. I can top this with whatever I want. We'll get that one done, and then I'll do the rest exactly the same way. This is leaves and stuff from under trees. I'm just going to mulch it. Kind of gives, it's like putting a blanket basically on a plant. It will help hold the water in and protect the soil, and this way your living soil will come all the way up to the top of the plant. If you just had soil on top, then remember, the top, nothing decays, only what breaks down is underneath. But when you have mulch, everything that you put in there will break down and will create living soil. So that's why mulching is good. Do I forget to mulch sometimes? Yes, I do. This is perfect. Now we already gave it a really good soaking. All we have to do now is just water it lightly. And when you water, especially in the summer now, when you first plant seedlings like this, if you can, and you're going to plant it in the morning or early afternoon, go back and water it a couple times. For the first couple days, it's good to give it some good soakings. That loosens up the soil that's around the roots and frees up the plant's roots so we can start to shoot off into the new soil it has been planted in. Otherwise, it will stay like a ball. It will take longer to grow. And that's what the water helps do. Kind of blends everything, the new and the old, together. And that's all there is to it. But give it a good watering. And you know what I might do in case I just walk by? Might just fill that up with water. This way, if I walk by, I know I have a little bit of water to grab if I don't turn on the hose and water it. Now that's it. Now there's something else we can do if you're in hot weather. This is the greatest protector for your plants. I showed you that before. Nobody's using them, and I don't know why. They'll last you for the season. I mean, they're meant to go in a really hot vehicle, right? and you're putting it in the wind chill and it just sits there in the hot sun. This is going to protect your plant when it's really hot. Like if you're dealing with 95, 100 degrees more, this is going to be a lifesaver for your plant. Let's get this set up. And there's multiple ways of setting this up. Remember that. Whatever will work for your plant and your planting situation. So there it is. I'm done for now. All the watermelon is now planted, all three. And I'm creating some shade. Now let's talk about this. There's different ways of putting up those sun shields, the ones that go in the windows that you see here. You could just wrap it around a bucket if you're dealing with a new tender plant, and that would create tons of shade for it. Or you can hang it up with some tomato stakes. That will work too. Whatever is going to work, because everybody's plant is going to be different. It's whatever fashion you planted it. It could be in the ground, it could be in a container, a bucket of some sort, raised bed. These work fantastic. And here what I've done is I use clothespins, I use zip ties sometimes. I even make my irrigation tubing. This is 1/4 inch with the rebar wire inside so I can make ties. Because as the plant grows, watermelon loves the sun. The stalk just holds a lot of water. You water your plants well, it's going to do fantastic. You don't have to think of anything else. And that is it. So put it up the way you need it, because you may not need it all the time. Here I leaned some tomato stakes and I leaned it so it will get some sun and some shade. You want to be able to change it up. You want to be able to pull it down if you need to, or move it to another plant if you're planting a new plant. The whole thing here is to give you ideas on how to work with the sun and the heat. This has been fantastic. It works for me. I'm pretty sure it will work for you. So with that, have a wonderful day. And don't forget to eat what you grow. And keep planting, even if you have to plant in the shade in the very hot seasons. Bye. Yes, they're still working on the house. Don't ask. Anyways, it made it through the night. They look really good. Nothing touched it. I'm going to leave this tool here. So if any squirrels climb up, they don't like getting caught. Notice this is really old. I mean, it is starting to tear apart, but that's fine. Nothing bothered it. Everything is doing good. When the sun comes out, it gets part shade and part sun. And we'll see how it goes. Hopefully I'll get, well, my goal is to get at least one watermelon plant to make it. But if any more made it, that would be a terrific bonus. I just want one. I just want one watermelon. So with that, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you picked up some tips and ideas on how I do things, and maybe you can do the same or tweak it to work for you. So with that, have a wonderful day, and don't forget to eat what you grow. Is that not cool? I'm actually starting to wonder about that purple paint I picked up. It's very expensive and it's a metal paint. And I only paid $9 for a gallon, but it's purple. Do you think I should paint the truck bed purple? Leave a comment, let me know.